Hey everyone, welcome back to Empire Build Academy Favian, and we're jumping into this new event. We've seen it in the past with the speed ups, but now it's time for the resource sprint event. So just going to go and jump over and have a look at what this is all about. But before I do that, if you're not subscribed to the channel and this is the kind of content you enjoy, then please do consider subscribing to the channel and also liking this video if it helps. Let's go straight over to the game now. And where we've got to go is the valuable event down at the bottom, which is this one here. Click inside there and we're going to scroll all the way to the left, which is the resource competition sprint, which is the one that we need to go into. And you can see we get something free every single day, so you need to make sure you are collecting that. So basically this event in short rewards you for spending resources and completing tasks quickly within a limited time window. And you've got three different areas here. You've got the sprint target, you've got the sprint package, and then of course the sprint quest as well. With the sprint package, this is quite simple. You can buy yourself some super safe resource chests every day, and you can buy that for 2,000 gems if you wanted to do that. Then we go further down, you can see you've got some packs that you can also purchase. Are these packs any good? The jury is out. I think there's better packs personally to purchase. Then we also have the sprint quest, and when we click into the sprint quest, you can see you will get rewards for doing different quests, including spending gems. So you can see if I spent 1 million gems, those are the items that I'm going to get, which includes material bag, resource chest, and some refining stones, and also some speed up for both training and construction. We also have at the bottom the standard resource that you spend, which is 125 million of all 4 resources, and with that you are of course getting your stamina and other items as well. In relation to the stamina, it's 4 times 8, so you are getting 32 times 100 of the stamina from the sprint quest. The next big thing is the sprint target. When we go over to sprint target, you can see there are different rounds. They are quite difficult to complete if you are a low spender or free to play, because it requires you to spend a lot of resources. And just to show you how this works, so you can see we've got gained points here. So you can see, so on the top one, I need to get 2,640 points, and you will get 1 point for every 10 million of any resources spent. And you can complete this event 4 times. So let's have a look on the first one. You can see I've got 360 points. I've completed this one all the way down. So all of these items that you can see here I've got, but in order to do that, did need to spend, and if we use the bottom one as an example, 2,160 points based on 10 million resources being spent means I needed to spend 21 billion resources to get this, but it's not 21 billion the same resource, they all count. So to give you an idea, using my keep as an example, if I was to upgrade this with these different resources, you can see there 45, 55, 55, 61 billion of the 4 resources. They would all count towards the points that you get for every 10 million. So that is 216 billion that is being spent there, which would mean I would get 21,610 points towards this target here. So you can have a look, 790, 1,250. We would comfortably be getting through all the different rounds. And if I was to go on to round 3 as well, obviously these all start again. So 360 points, 720. That would then start again from 0 on the next one. So you would need to do that all over again, which this time would be 2,640 that you would need. So to add all of these up for the different points, there is a total of 2,160 from the first one. Then in the second one, we would need 2,640 points. In the third one, this time going all the way down to the bottom, you would need 3,240 points. And then for the fourth one, if we're going down, 3,906 points. So if I'm doing this right, you would need to spend 120 billion to complete this event. If I've got that wrong, then please do let me know in the comments. But that's what I believe it is. And obviously you would get the different rewards for the different tiers as you go along. So 120 billion total spend of resources. And like I said, that's not 120 billion food and 120 billion wood. It is a combined total. So when I look looked at the keep earlier and I said that this was 216 billion in total resources to upgrade, that would comfortably complete the Sprint RSS event. Having a look at all the different rewards that you get from this as well. So just having a look at the stamina and how much that is in total, it's 640 of the individual staminas that you are getting times 100, which would be 64,000 in regards to your stamina. And then of course you're getting all these different rewards as well. I'm not going to add them all up, but again, you can see the resources that you're getting. The one thing to point out that is different from the last time is the resources are super safe resources. They are not open resources. So just be aware of that. I know there's going to be a few people that are disappointed with that. You also get these coins that you can see as well, which are here. And these coins are Hermes gold coins. And you get these gold coins for completing the whole round each time. So every time you complete a round, you are getting these coins. Now, when you go to deem these coins, I know there is actually a bit of discontent with the rewards that are being offered. And I can understand why, because honestly, the rewards are not that great, especially when you consider you need 300 of these coins just to get an epic historic general premium. And again, if we used to say, if we used to use 20 of those coins, you're getting 10 blood of Ares. You can see really that it is quite weak in the rewards that are being offered for that. And that is something that possibly will change with Evony players complaining in the future. But that's something we can only wait and see if that is going to happen. There is also a sprint ranking as well, which you can get additional rewards, and you can see as well they are coming with those coins in there as well. So obviously this will be one for the biggest spenders, but where does it go all the way down? Let's have a look. It's the top 500 are going to get the rewards for this. So again, it's still something to consider how much you're going to be spending and whether you can actually reach the next tier of those rewards. Obviously don't chase. If you're not going to be able to do it, it might be better spending those resources in a different way, saving them up for when you can actually attack this, if that's what you're looking to do. So to try and summarize this in a simple to understand format, you get bonus resources for basically what you're doing anyway. So timing your big construction builds, because that's the main one for this event, is definitely going to be beneficial. And I would actually coincide the two with the sprint event. So upgrading using the resources on this, and then completing that build when it comes to the sprint event. So trying to work with both of them so that you're getting the maximum rewards from this particular event. The event itself works on milestones. You can see there are milestones in the sprint quest which you can complete, and you can also see there are milestones which is based on resource consumption via this method as well, which is very similar to the speed up event, which will be every fortnight on the flip alongside this sprint target for the resources. What to do before the sprint starts is quite simple. Saving your resources, saving your builds until it is the relevant event. And I'll use the Keep Castle again as my example. I would make sure that I'll be upgrading this when it is the sprint resource event. And then once I've done that, I would then complete that construction build with speed ups when it is the sprint speed up event. Of course, if you only want to do it little, or maybe you don't have the resources to do that, again, troop training, things like this, they're all going to count towards that resource consumption. So again, making sure whatever it is you're doing that requires resources is being done in this particular event. The other thing that I want to do as well is jump over to Reddit, because we can see what people are thinking about this event. So this was a post that was done by Leastwave, new resources return versus old resource event comparison. And they was asking, is the new one better or was the old one better? And these are some of the responses. New is better in rewards, but I prefer older because I can easily track my resource spent. The response to that underneath doesn't matter because you need to hit the sprint points anyway. Plus now, if you spend more, you can get ranking rewards as well. And continuing down, yeah, new is better. Like I said, I just got used to the old one. So that is for this particular one. Ghost Typist said, old one is just more intuitive. The new one is rewarding potentially. Reason I say potentially is because if you are a slow learner in the game, it might be a long time before you understand the change. So that's a lot of rewards you're going to miss out on. I do agree with that. I've got a few Alliance members that have had a hard time when the developers change existing events in the game. Haldemon responded to that saying it's not too hard to keep track. 100 points is equal to 1 billion resources. So if you're at 2,400, 4,100 for the last stage, that's 17 billion. Works out as 120 billion resource total to complete the event. That's exactly what I worked it out at. So I'm glad they've done the same math maths as me. That's a bit less than the previous one at 140 billion, but it can be any resource. So you solve the issue of always being out 10 billion behind on food. Reward wise, I didn't add it up as I went along, but when I looked at the items after, I had a little over 5.2k worth of the 1 million resources boxes. If they were all from the consuming event, that would mean a 17% return, better than before. And then lastly, in my opinion, the only downside of it is the safe resource reward. And this isn't good, in my opinion, simply because you can't transfer from your farm and the resource critical doesn't work on it. Evony could totally remove the safe resource part of it. It's useless. So basically, people with alts, people with farms are not going to be too happy with the particular change. What I now do is throw this back out to you. I always say you're the expert. I'm hoping I did my maths correctly. Also hoping that I did the explanation correctly as well. But to go in there and give an idiot's 1 minute guide to this event, this is how I would say it. You go into your valuable event, you go all the way to the end, you've got your resource consumption, you have various little mini quests that need completing, including your gems, and also 125 million of each resource in the sprint quest side of things. On the sprint target, you gain 1 point for every 10 million of any resource, and that's the key there, is all adds up. So it's not a case of where you've got to spend 150 million of food, 150 million of wood. It's just in total resources. So if you've got a lot of food that needs spending on a particular task, that will all add up and you won't need to spend the additional on the other resources. In total, I worked out that you would need to spend 120 billion to complete all 4 stages of the sprint target, and each stage has its own individual rewards, 4 tiers. On each of the chapters, we'll call them, for the sprint targets, there are 6 different ones that you need to complete. And if you do complete those 6, you will also get the additional round rewards, which come with the Hermes gold coin, as well as some speed ups and some resources. Sprint packages, personally myself, I would leave them alone. But if you think different, then please do let me know in the comments. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to keep this as simple as there. It's my 1 minute guide. If you do have anything to add to this or the responses on Reddit, then please do drop it in the comments. And my final thoughts on the resource sprint event is it's an opportunity to gain additional resources with a little bit of a percentage increase on how it was previously. And if you understand how it rewards the progress relative to spending, then you're going to do okay on this event. You're also getting those additional Hermes coins, which will be additional rewards that at the end of the day is technically free compared to what it was before, although those rewards aren't great. That is where I'm going to leave this particular video. Comment below what you think of this event, and I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.